So I want to talk about the approach of using a collaborative posture towards things like interviews, which is contrast to the traditional evaluative posture towards interviews, and how I would argue that former is so much more fruitful, useful for both sides, and I feel like I can ironically score higher points with the interviewer with the former approach. So let me first define what evaluative is versus collaborative. Um, Evaluative is where when you feel the customer's really, excuse me, the interviewer is really trying to grill you. Tell me a time when you had a conflict with an engineer and so on and so forth. So the stock response for that is, oh, let's start off with the nugget and then the star approach: situation, task, action, and results. And I get it. These are fairly fun ways to well, fun ways. These are uh, answers to a question. But two things happen. One is I've been going it through that man as well. But then two things happen. First is I came across an interview guide, and what do engineers look for when they interview PMs? And the guy said, ultimately it's empathy, empathy about their world, the fact that they have, say, a lot of technical constraints, the fact that they have a lot of unknown unknowns. If you ask for a certain, how long will this take? Hey, they don't know because they have to troll through the code base. Or um, they need time to focus on one thing. So don't scope creep and say, oh, can we just add this one more thing, and so on and so forth. It's all about empathy, and that's by and large so great. That's great. So that's the first thing. The second thing was this happened during one of my interviews with a CEO of a sort of a synthetic data company, and I forgot how it got there, but right, yeah. We were both asking each other challenges that we ran across as we tried to basically sell into the data industry. That it's where are places that are difficult and challenging, and where are places that we gain traction. And then we just started building on top of each other's sort of ideas. Uh, you know, Having a very difficulty in enterprise deals. Yes, I see that as well. They don't tend to renew, right? Because we don't get them to use it. Why don't we get them to use it? It's because we have the technology. We may have not the process or the people skills there. They don't have good clean data to start off with. They don't have people to curate the data. They don't have access to the data. They can't spin up the deployment infrastructure and EC2 instances, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And we just banter off each other, and we tend to see the same things. So I came out from those kind of interviews much more energized, and it didn't feel like an evaluative interview at all. It became like a conversations of equals, dare I say. And then I talked to the recruiter afterwards, and they'll say, "Hey, the CEO loved talking to you. He was very positive. That he felt more like it was the great brainstorming moment." Um, and I I felt the same way. It was very is good. It did not feel stressful at all. So that's when I started moving on to the other interviews, doing pretty much the same thing and saying, "Hey, this is what I see. Do you see the same thing? Hey, when I sell, I found much better to sell to land small, and then grow the accounts from there, as opposed to just simply landing big, because at least we have a small team to start working off from and getting that use case, and then climbing up to the sort of company level strategy." And likewise, they will say a few things, and then I may ask, "Hey, how did you deal with that situation?" Because I went through this. I'm going through the same thing. For example, there'll often be a lot of third party dependencies that they think about, that I would have to think about, or you know dependency hell, we call it. Like, oh, how do you think about upgrading Spark, or how do you think about working with the third cloud vendors? Some of them are very slow to reply in their support, and then it's one of those. We're all in data space. We're all working through the same thing. I'm sure they're seeing something that I've seen before, and we are in some ways independently um, 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 trying to solve that problem, and we're comparing notes. And again, that came for me, felt much more helpful in just really having conversation as opposed to um, it feeling evaluative. I think it also helps with the mental and psyche as well when you're stepped away from the posture of being evaluated, and you're in the posture of a collaboration. Because the latter, you feel more like, oh, you can, you know, you can be yourself. You can feel more confident. You're contributing. Um, you're much more natural and more authentic and less fake, and all these great things which will ironically make you shine more. And I guess what am I looking for? Less desperate, because I know being an interviewer, you often come across folks who will be a bit insecure and trying to show off and so on and so forth. So that is my tip for y'all today, which is when in these situations or in relationships, even, right? When you're trying to make new friends, trying to meet a new girl, just be natural. Work like a peer and not and collaborate as opposed to being evaluated. So there you go. Hope you have fun with that. And if you like the content, hit like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Good one. Bye.